We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's gonna save something now. I'll save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails. And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to help one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet?
Hello friends, today I'm going to respond to George Carlin's criticism of the environmental movement. Let's see what he has to say.
See, I'm not one of these people who's worried about everything. You got these people around you, the country's full of them now, people walking around all day long, worried about everything. Worried about the air, worried about the water, worried about the soil. Worried about pesticides, insecticides, food additives, carcinogens, worried about radon gas, worried about asbestos. Worried about saving endangered species.
I'm curious where exactly he sees all those people. In my view, most people don't worry about those things. They don't care about the planet. They don't care about its destruction. They just go about their lives, working, consuming, being entertained. They're actually numb to the pain of the world because this is the way they have learned to live life without being overwhelmed by that pain, because that pain is so severe. So people are insensitive to what is happening. If they truly cared, the world would not be in the mess that it is. The planet is in the situation that it is precisely because people don't worry about it.
Let me tell you about endangered species, all right? Saving endangered species is just one more arrogant attempt by humans to control nature. It is arrogant meddling. It's what got us in trouble in the first place. Doesn't anybody understand that? Interfering with nature. Over 90%, way over 90% of all the species that have ever lived on this planet, are gone. Whoosh. They're extinct. We didn't kill them all. They just disappeared. That's what nature does.
Well, we did not kill them all. Through evolution, species come and go. But we did kill a lot of them. And he's right that interfering with nature is what brought us into the trouble that we are in right now. But to stop killing those species does not mean trying to interfere further with nature. It just means letting nature heal and recover. It just means taking action to protect the well-being of Earth.
They disappear these days at the rate of 25 a day, regardless of our behavior, irrespective of how we act on this planet. 25 species that were here today will be gone tomorrow. Let them go gracefully. Leave nature alone. Haven't we done enough?
Actually, we're making species go extinct about 1,000 or more times faster than they would normally go. So we are definitely responsible for that. Just think about the fact that we are cutting down entire forests. Are we not responsible for murdering all the life that existed in them, of so many animals and plants? What he's saying is plain stupid, and I like George Carlin. I like his views and criticism on so many different topics, but in this case he's definitely missing the point.
We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's gonna save something now. I'll save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails. And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to help one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet?
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying here. I think it is very arrogant of us to think that we should or that we can save the planet. Because in reality, it is we that the planet needs saving from. The planet needs to be saved from us. We are the problem. But that does not mean that we cannot stop hurting the planet, that we cannot allow it to heal from the damage that we have caused to it. So although he's right that the idea of saving the planet is very arrogant, I feel that the way he's expressing his thoughts here, it's kind of reassuring the people who don't care about the planet to keep on not caring about it, to think that we can just continue living the way we have been doing. So it kind of removes the responsibility from them. And that, I think, is quite an irresponsible and dangerous thing to do.
I am getting tired of that shit. I'm tired of fucking Earth Day. I'm tired of these fucking self-righteous environmentalists. I'm tired of these white, liberal, bourgeois, liberal, white people who think the only thing wrong with this planet is there aren't enough bicycle paths, trying to make the world safe and clean for their Volvos. And I'm really sick of these rock stars and movie stars gonna work off their cocaine guilt by saving a forest somewhere.
Well, it's true what he just said. There are a lot of people who actually don't care about Earth. They only care about themselves, and they pretend to care for whatever reason. But there are people, quite some in fact, that care, that genuinely care about the planet and its well-being. There are people who want to protect the planet, not in order to serve their own self-interest, but because of the love that they have for the planet. So what George Carlin does here is putting all environmentalists in the same basket when that's not the case at all.
Well, the environmentalists don't give a shit about the planet. They don't care about the planet. Not in the abstract, they don't. You know what they're interested in? A clean place to live. Their own habitat. They're worried that someday in the future they might be personally inconvenienced. Narrow, unenlightened self-interest doesn't impress me.
Well, again, not all people are like that. There are some people who genuinely care about this planet. But I can see what he's saying about self-interest. A lot of people think, let's save the planet so that we don't get into trouble. And this is a rhetoric that I hear a lot in the environmental movement, and I'm very against it, because I think that appealing to self-interest in order to protect the well-being of the planet is not going to serve us in any way. Perhaps it will only get things worse, or it will perpetuate the problems, because it is our self-interest that created the problem in the first place. So a lot of so-called environmentalists try to appeal to self-interest in order to resolve problems that were created by self-interest. Imagine that you have children and you don't take care of them because you love them, but because you're worried about what might happen to you if you don't take care of them. You might think, if I don't take care of them now, maybe once they grow older, they might not want to take care of me. Now you must be able to see what is the problem with that. If you don't genuinely love your kids, but you only take care of them to serve your self-interest, then will you really take care of them? Will you really give them what they need to grow into healthy, happy human beings? Not really, because your care will not be genuine. It will not be filled with love. Yeah, they might be able to grow, but they will not be able to thrive. And you might even unintentionally cause problems to them. Because when there is no love, how can you provide them with what they truly need? Only care that is rooted in love can be truly effective.
There's nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. The people are fucked.
Well, he's right in a sense. The people are fucked. But because they are fucked, they're fucking up the planet. Because they are messed up, they are messing up nature. But that does not mean that Earth is not in trouble. It is. And we are to blame for that.
Compared to the people, the planet is doing great. The planet has been here for 4.5 billion years, all right? 4.5 billion. We've been here, what, 100,000? Maybe. 200,000? Maybe. And we've only been engaged in heavy industry for a little over 200 years. 200 years versus 4.5 billion. And we have the conceit to think that somehow we're a threat? That somehow we're going to put in jeopardy this beautiful little blue-green ball that's just floating around the sun? Planet has been through a lot worse than us for a long time. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, bombardments for hundreds of thousands of years by comets and asteroids and meteors, sandstorms, erosion of all kind, cosmic radiation, worldwide fires, worldwide floods, recurring ice ages, and we think some aluminum cans and some plastic bags are going to make a difference? Planet isn't going anywhere. We are. We're going away. We're going away. Pack your shit, folks.
Well, it's true that Earth has existed for such a long time before humans came into existence, and will most likely exist for way long after we are gone. And in some millions of years, Earth's biodiversity might return to pre-human biodiversity. But does that excuse our destruction of it? Does that justify our murdering of so much life on Earth? It is like saying that there is nothing wrong with the hundreds of millions of people that were murdered in the 20th century because human population has recovered since then. Imagine that you knew someone who could live for a very, very long time, and I came and told you that there is nothing wrong with abusing that person for a couple of years, since that person will live for so long after that. If I told you that, you would think that I'm insanely stupid and cruel. So why does Carlin and a lot of other people make this kind of argument when it comes to Earth?
Planet is going to be here a long, long, long time after we're gone, and it will heal itself, it will cleanse itself, because that's what it does. It's a self-correcting system. The air and the water will recover, the earth will be renewed. And say, if it's true that plastic doesn't degrade, well, the planet will simply incorporate plastic into a new paradigm, the Earth plus plastic. The planet doesn't share our prejudice towards plastic. Plastic came out of the Earth. The Earth probably sees plastic as just another one of its children.
Okay, that's just ridiculous. Plastic is literally poisoning all life on Earth. Plastic can be found nearly everywhere nowadays. Perhaps not as much as in the times of George Carlin, but even back then it was a big problem. Just look at the oceans. They are filled with plastic. Plastic is killing so much marine life. And plastic is poisoning us as well. I was reading that the average human being ingests about 2,000 microplastics every week through our environment, through the food that we eat, the water that we drink, the air that we breathe. Plastic is everywhere, even if it is so small that our eyes cannot detect it. And it takes hundreds, if not thousands of years to biodegrade. Although, as I said earlier, I like and appreciate George Carlin and his criticism on so many social issues, here he's just being silly. And I'm very surprised about that. Because, again, he's usually so on point. His criticism is usually so sharp, like a knife, that pierces through the problems and goes to their roots. But in this case, many of the claims that he made are just ridiculous.
Could be the only reason the Earth allowed us to be spawned from it in the first place. It wanted plastic for itself. Didn't know how to make it, needed us. Could be the answer to our age-old philosophical question, why are we here? Plastic, assholes. So, The plastic is here. Our job is done. We can be phased out now. And I think that's really started already, don't you? I mean, to be fair, the planet probably sees us as a mild threat, something to be dealt with. And I'm sure the planet will defend itself in the manner of a large organism, like a beehive or an ant colony can muster a defense. I'm sure the planet will think of something. What would you do if you were the planet trying to defend against this pesky, troublesome species? Let's see. What might... viruses. Viruses might be good. They seem vulnerable to viruses. And viruses are tricky, always mutating and forming new strains whenever a vaccine is developed. Perhaps this first virus could be one that compromises the immune system of these creatures. Perhaps a human immunodeficiency virus, making them vulnerable to all sorts of other diseases and infections that might come along. And maybe it could be spread sexually, making them a little reluctant to engage in the act of reproduction.
Well, I understand that this is comedy, but there are a lot of people who actually believe that Earth will take revenge on us because of what we have done to her, because of our destructive behavior. But I don't see Earth like that. I see Earth more like a loving mother, our great mother, our common mother, and we are her children who are immature. So I don't think that Earth would want us to die. However, the world is made up of ecosystems. Actually, the whole biosphere is an ecosystem itself. And when we disturb that ecosystem, then a lot of bad things might happen, including our species going extinct because of that. So when we disrupt nature and we create the conditions that don't allow us to survive, then that does not mean that Earth is taking revenge on us. It just means that we reap the effects of our actions. Earth can't help it. It is like destroying the foundations of the very house that we live in. Naturally, the house is going to collapse and fall upon us and kill us. It is not that the house took revenge on us. We caused that. We got crushed, we got destroyed by our very actions.
Well, that's a poetic note. And it's a start. And I can dream, can't I? I don't worry about the little things. Bees, trees, whales, snails. I think we're part of a greater wisdom than we will ever understand. A higher order. Call it what you want. You know what I call it? The big electron. The big electron. Whoa. 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 It doesn't punish. It doesn't reward. It doesn't even judge. It just is. And so are we, for a little while. Thanks for being here with me for a little while tonight. Thank you. Thank you.